Okay. Hey, everybody. We got our next speaker, the grandmapreneur, Connie Belcher. She's a speaker, so let me bring her on, and we will get you started with the next amazing podcast. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you? I'm good.
Are you enjoying this event?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, totally. I am very fortunate for them to ask me to host this session from 1 to 5. So I'm going to give it all to you and have fun.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Enjoy.
Okay, great. So my name is Connie Inukai, and I'm a grandmapreneur. And as you can see, one of my grandchildren is in the background. She kind of likes to sit with me. But okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I used to be in my former life. I was a college writing professor, and I taught at the University of Maryland and at Johns Hopkins University for 35 years. And then I started my PR, and I'm going to talk to you about how to get PR. So here's how my PR story started. First, Ella, can you take her away a little bit? Sorry. First, I became an inventor, and I invented a product called Tip and Split. And this is actually my product. It's called Tip and Split, and it's for people who get older, like me, and can't read the menu, the small print on the menu or the bill. So I devised this handheld device that has a magnifier, and if the restaurant is dark, I have my own light, and then it can also figure out a tip and split the bill in seconds. Okay, so I knew nothing about inventing and nothing about PR, nothing, but I decided to make an invention because I had the problem when I would go out to eat and I just couldn't see anything. And all my friends were also my age. And we would pass around reading glasses, and somebody would have some, and we would pass them around to read, or we would just ask the server what's good. And we also, we didn't like using our smartphone at the dinner table because it's so distracting. And once you have a smartphone at the table, you start getting distracted with text messages and stuff. So I decided to invent this product. So like I said, I knew nothing about inventing. So I studied. And I did that. I quit my job of teaching after 35 years because I needed the time to develop my product. So that's what I did. I developed my product, and my first big success was I got on QVC. And that's actually a very interesting story because when I got on DC, I went to an inventors trade show, and a QVC panel was there. So my manufacturer had disappointed me, and I didn't have my product ready, my prototype. And so all I could do was pitch to QVC with pictures of my product. So that was kind of embarrassing. But they said, come back when you have a product. So I went back the next year, and they had the same panel of judges from QVC. And I said, I recognized them. And I said, do you remember me? And they said, yes, we do. So I said, well, I remember you too. And you told me to come back when I had a product. So here's my product. And they all applauded at my demonstration of Tip and Split. So they invited me on QVC. Now, what I really want to say is you should never give up, because if you get a no, find out why. And it was obvious why I got a no the first time, because I didn't have my product. So just keep trying hard. And so then I got on QVC. And that's when my PR started, because a local newspaper picked up my story. It's called the Beacon newspaper, and it's for older people. and they did a front page cover story about me. So I love that. So I decided, wow, PR is good because everybody was hearing about my product. So what I did is I eventually got on the Today Show, The View, CBS News, Fox News, so many different places, all in my retirement. I actually started when I was 68. So I'm older than that now. So actually, because I was a writing teacher, I decided to write a book for other people on how, this is my book. It's called How I Got My Product on QVC, The Today Show, The View, and More in Retirement. Then the little subheading, it's all about the buzz. And I'll tell you how you can get a free copy of this. So anyway, so I actually loved getting publicity. And I didn't know anything about publicity. So I hired a PR firm and they sounded great and they got me nothing. I got on all these channels by myself. And I'll tell you how I got them, okay? So I spent a lot of money hiring PR companies, and then I decided I just can't afford it anymore, and they didn't do anything. So I decided to do all of my PR myself. Okay, so what I want to do is tell you about how to get publicity, because publicity gives you immediate credibility as an expert in the field. So everybody knows you, and I actually, in preparation for this event, I Googled myself, and I'm just not a really famous person, but I had 22 pages of Google. If you put in my name, then it gets into my kids, okay? But 22 pages, so anybody who's going to look me up for PR is going to see that I've been out there. So I hear all the time, I don't know how to do PR. Well, guess what? Most people don't know how. So I hear that all the time. And but the fact is that PR is really important. And what you have to know is the news shows run 24/7. So they are looking for stories. So I actually decided, actually during COVID, I have a new project. 22 pages, what's that? Well, 22 is a lot. Oh yeah, I see, my Google, right. Okay, so during COVID, I started on a new project, and now I'm going to work on PR for that. So my new project is, because of my age, I'm in the high risk category for COVID, okay? So I really don't want to go out. And what I did is I actually got inspired when Kobe Bryant died. And he died in January of this year. And it was so sad. But I realized his children and his future grandchildren and everybody is going to know all about him, because he was a great basketball player, a great philanthropist, and also he had an incredible social media presence. So I decided, who's going to know about me? Nobody's going to know about me unless I tell them. So I decided to write a book about my life. And then my new project is to help other people write their story, because you can't believe how many people, everybody has a story to tell, but nobody has the impetus to get started on it. And this is not only for old people, because everybody I talk to says, boy, I wish my parents had written it, or I wish my grandparents had written it. So now I'm going to write one so my children will know all about me. And I did a lot of research for my book on my ancestry. And actually, this is my book. That's a picture of me when I was a little bit younger. And I found out so many interesting facts about my ancestors that nobody ever told me. This is after both of my parents had died. I found out that my mother, my grandmother from my mother's side, immigrated to the United States from Poland in 1912. Okay, and she had to postpone the trip because she had morning sickness, and the trip that they postponed was on the Titanic. So imagine that. I couldn't believe that this is part of my history, that I actually wouldn't have been born if my grandma had gone on the Titanic. There was a possibility I would have not been born. So my grandkids love that story. My grandson, Julian, is 8, and he actually loves the Titanic and watches all these documentaries about the Titanic. So now he knows that I have the Titanic in my history too. So I found out so many more stories about myself, and I decided I'm going to teach lessons to my grandkids, and they're all going to know about me after I'm gone. So that's my new business, and I call it Write Your Selfie, because I think that people like me don't do a lot of selfies, so we can feel a little bit like we're doing selfies. And my book is almost all pictures and captions. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to have a press kit. I do have a nice press kit, and what you're supposed to do is tell a little bit about yourself in the third person, and then you're supposed to have some heading that will attract people. So my heading is Passion Has No Expiration Date. Okay, because that's me. I have a lot of passion, even though I'm now 72 years old. Okay. So anyway, I'm still working on a new PR campaign. So if you want to do a PR campaign, so after you do your press kit, you have to do a few other things. You have to find out who you're going to send your announcement to. First of all, you have to be newsworthy. You have to have some kind of newsworthy event. Now, I'm around a lot of entertainers in this on this podcast, so you all have something newsworthy to tell. Well, I think my newsworthy fact is going to be about COVID. I mean, everybody's still talking about COVID, even though we're getting close to the end of it. But I'm going to talk about 74 million baby boomers out there, and we're a little bit afraid of getting COVID and death. So we need to do something during COVID that's positive. And so I can't think of a better thing than passing along your story, your legacy to other people, to your family. So I actually wrote mine, and now I'm working on getting my publicity. So I'm going to tell you my first bit of publicity that I always go to is there's a website called HARO, Help a Reporter Out. The first tip I would like to tell you is to use this website called Help a Reporter Out. Okay, what they do, it's free. What they do is they send out emails. You sign up. It's called HARO. You sign up for free, and every day, 3 times a day, they send you requests from journalists who want to write about you. Okay, so I got so many things from HARO. For example, last month. There was a request for somebody to talk about inventing, and they picked me to be on Thrive Global and also Authority Magazine and maybe Entrepreneur Magazine. They're going to take the best ones and put them on there. That's through HARO. It was free, and actually just last week they had another request from a journalist. And they wanted to, thank you, Robert. They wanted to have somebody who did some kind of business during COVID. So I, of course, talked about Write Your Selfie. So they selected me to be on another episode of Authority Magazine, Thrive Global, and Entrepreneur Magazine. So this is really incredible. So I also got, I'm starting on Write Your Selfie. I just got picked to be in some women's magazine. I'm not even sure what it is. And on a radio show called Mom Radio. And this is actually incredible because Mom Radio, who would think to put a grandma on there? But I just don't let it bother me. So I'm going to be in there, and two others. Really recommend Hero. And sometimes, I actually go to the things that I want to do, but they're often asking for celebrities. So what you have to do is you have to find some kind of story to write about that you would like to be interviewed about. So what you have to do is have a catchy, intriguing subject heading. Okay, write a pitch to them, very, very short because they're so busy. Tell them what you want to write about, and they'll contact you. They'll contact you again if you need to. Sometimes it takes 6 months. Sometimes it takes one day. So there are a number of other sources like Hero. One is called Muck Rack. I just found out about that because I looked myself up and I saw that I was on Muck Rack, and this is about trending items that journalists are looking for. So I think this is so great and so helpful. So I'm just really enjoying everything. Now, how do you think about a catchy subject to write about? Well, the best thing that you can do is look at a magazine, because they pay these writers to write magazines that will intrigue the reader. And while they're standing in the shopping line in the grocery store, they may pick up that magazine and look through it. And if they want to, they'll spend $5 and buy the magazine. So if you go to a magazine, you will find so much about what kind of hooks work. For example, hooks. Okay, hooks. The most popular trending things are like how to lose weight, how to do exercise. They're about relationships, about sex, about business, anything. So what you have to do is find a nice way to say it. For example, instead of saying how to lose weight, how to get an over 40 bikini bod in 3 months. Now that one they might like. So you can get so many ideas by going to the magazines. What hooks do they use? And use the same words, maybe just change a little bit of the language. Okay, and when you're writing your pitch, when they ask you for a pitch, mainly from Hero, you can go, you can write an email, have a catchy heading, write an email which should be only about 2 or 3 sentences about what you would like to talk about. And then make sure that you give your contact information so that they can email you back. Now, if you do it on Hero, Hero will let you know that that they're interested, and they'll say, "Can we have a call?" Or they'll just email you and say, "Please send some pictures." So you're going to need some high resolution pictures. I used to do it for Tip and Split for my product, but now I have pictures of my grandchildren holding my book and looking through it. So I think they like that. So anyway, there are so many things that you can do. The main thing you have to know is that these reporters are people. Okay, they have feelings. the most important feeling they have is they're busy. They work day and night, and they have to fill their magazines or their TV shows up with content. So they want to hear from you, but you have to just make it good. So if you want to make it good, you just have one sentence about the problem you're trying to solve and your solution. So my problem is actually what's a good thing for people to do during COVID where they don't have to leave the house. And my solution is take this time and write your book so that your children and your grandchildren and all future generations will know all about you. Those are some of my tips. Okay, get to the point. They're really busy. Oh, so when you're doing your finding a reporter to write to, look at what kind of articles they write to and see some of their articles, and you may want to compliment them on some of the articles they've written. Okay, how do you compliment them? Well, almost every journalist is on Twitter, so you can find some journalists on Twitter. You can just do a search for TV producers or magazine producers or writers, and you can follow them. And before you ask to write a story, get to know them and say, boy, I really like that article you wrote, or I really like that segment. Just get to the point, make it easy. And after you've done it for a few times, they might know you. Another thing that you can do is to get yourself known is everybody likes it if you give back. So, for example, for my tip and split, I actually hooked up with the Macular Degeneration Foundation. They're in Washington, D.C., which is near where I live. And I don't have macular degeneration. I never heard of it, but I know it affects a lot of people. And they do a lot of research for cancer, but not much research for macular degeneration. So I wrote to them and I said, I have a product you might like. So I sent them 25 tip and splits, and they were giving them away to everybody who was on their website. I was their first blog article to macular degeneration, and anybody who commented on it, they would get a free tip and split. Well, they ran out in one day, and so I sent 50 more. And so anyway, so it was really so much fun for me. I have a website which I was trying to share with you, and it's called Grandmapreneur Inventor.
You got it.
So this is actually my website, and if you go to my media, you'll find all of the places that I've been on. All of these things. One of my favorites was when I was on The View, and you can click on it and see it. This is me on QVC. And so I have all these things, and a lot of them I got through Harrow. Here I have speaking and podcasts, and I have all my speaking. So it's easy for somebody to look it up. If I give them this link, they can see my speaking engagements and make it easy for them to follow. So I'm going to stop sharing now. If you go to this website, and I'm going to put the link in it, if you go to my Grandmapreneur website, and if you subscribe to my website, just click on it and subscribe, you will get a free copy of my book, which is this book. I give it away for free. I'm selling it on Amazon, but anybody, no, it's not that. It's grandmapreneurinventor.com. Okay, grandmapreneurinventor.com. Okay, so if you do that, you will automatically receive a free copy of my book on how to get publicity. So I actually love this whole event that Tina has going on. I have a link to my tip and split. Oh, that's it. Grandmapreneur Inventor. Thank you. I have a link to my tip and split, and I also have a link to write your selfie. And by the way, if anybody needs a gift to give to somebody, I just started a promotional campaign for Christmas. You can get a tip and split. Normally it's $19.95 on Amazon, but if you put in the promo code HOLIDAY, you can buy 2 for 1. You buy one and you get one free. So anybody who wants to do that, it's a great gift to give to your parents. So anyway, I had a really nice time here, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. This was a really great summit so far. I hope you're enjoying all of the other podcasts in this summit.
I'm enjoying everything.